The fact Nintendo hasn't added a shopping cart to the Able Sisters is an actual crime in this game. Hey gang, and welcome to another Animal Crossing video. I'm Crossing Channel, and I always find it really interesting to kind of investigate all of the little changes and updates that have happened in Animal Crossing New Horizons in the recent months. The huge 2.0 update added a lot of obvious new features that we all know about, but it also brought forth a ton of changes that you probably haven't noticed yet. So let's take a look at 8 of these in this video. I just want to quickly mention that this video is sponsored by Lovelink. For a chance to win a $25 Nintendo Switch eShop card, download the game using my link in the description. To enter into the giveaway, all you have to do is download the game using my link, screenshot yourself with free character interests unlocked on any character, and then tag me on Instagram at Crossing Channel. So, a really cool quality of life update that I haven't seen many people talk about is the fact that you can now buy tools and holdable goods from Nook Shopping. Now, this applies to the items which are available in Nook's Cranny for you to buy throughout the year. So, for example, the outdoorsy items like the outdoorsy shovel, you can now buy them from Nook Shopping rather than taking the time to go to Nook's Cranny if you want to get the items the next day. I just feel like this would be a really useful way to buy lots of these tools instead of going through the process of heading to Nook's Cranny and heading into the cabinet. If you've already got the Nook Shopping app, then this would be really convenient. Another change that I noticed in here is that the seasonal items now no longer just say unavailable, they actually say seasonal, so you can tell easily which ones will be available in the seasonal shopping tab when they aren't available through the other menus. PurplePeeps28 on Twitch mentioned this one to me. If you go villager hunting and you see a villager who formerly lived on your island, they will now remember you. I'm not entirely sure if this was introduced within 2.0 or just slightly before that, but I think it's a really cool update where previously this wasn't a thing at all. It makes the villagers feel much more alive, the fact that now they will actually recognize you when you go on a hunt. I really like this little update. They also made it so that in the Roost villagers will remember you if they previously lived on your island. So these are definitely good improvements, and it doesn't just make it feel like these are copies of your villagers rather than the exact same one. So it's really nice to be able to get these new interactions, and you should definitely go villager hunting. You can of course get the new villagers now, and you can even get this special dialogue too, like I said, if you do happen to run into any of your old villagers, which is really nice. Okay, I know that barely anyone sends mail in Animal Crossing New Horizons, but 9 new mail cards were actually introduced with the 2.0 update, and in fact 2 of them you can basically see there at all times. They had been in the code of the game for quite a while, but they finally got put into the game with the 2.0 update, so these are new options that you can use. A lot of the other cards honestly are ones that you see from special characters when they might mail you something or send you some kind of announcement through the mail. Others seem to be more related to Happy Home Paradise. Either way, I think it's cool that they've updated it to add in more mail, but I'm still so sad that this mail stand is a thing. It is such a shame, honestly. Not having a post office in Animal Crossing New Horizons really does feel like a big downgrade, and I think it's put a lot of people off actually sending out mail, so hopefully they do make this feature a little bit more interesting in the next Animal Crossing game. This one actually happened much more recently than most. It's the fact that now if you head to a special vine Cap'n Island, you will actually see that the palm trees have sand under them. When the 2.0 update originally dropped, the palm trees didn't have any sand under them at all. Nintendo has clearly changed this because you can't plant palm trees on regular grass, you have to have some sand underneath it. So they've done this as a way not to confuse players who might see the fact that you could do this on a special island and try and do it on their own island and then get really confused when they can't. Personally, I think it looked really cool not having the sand underneath the palm trees, and I wish they had just made that a thing on your regular island. It's not a big deal if palm trees grow on grass. I'm sure in some circumstances they could. I mean, I'm no tree expert, I'm no coconut expert, but I feel like it's Animal Crossing. It doesn't need to be super realistic in that way. So, some of the furniture categorizations have actually been changed with 2.0, and in my opinion, some of the most significant ones are the 2 which have been moved from housewares to miscellaneous. These are the air circulator and the wooden bucket, and these items now, for the first time in Animal Crossing New Horizons, can be placed on surfaces. So finally, you can get these items on top of your tables, whatever you want. The wooden bucket is one that always felt very strange not to be a miscellaneous item, so the fact that now you can place it on a table is really great. Some others have been changed from miscellaneous to housewares as well, like the amp, the Bunny Day planter box, the floor sign, katana, and trash bags too. However, these items can all still be placed on surfaces even though they're under housewares. I guess Nintendo didn't want to take that away from people, and it would have kind of made it confusing for them if these items were already on surfaces before the 2.0 update, which I'm sure they were in many games. Speaking of the interior, Animal Crossing New Horizons now has ceilings. You can use the camera, the special camera mode, to actually see a ceiling in Animal Crossing New Horizons. I believe this is the first time in any Animal Crossing game you've actually been able to enjoy a ceiling in the game, and it does make a lot of sense given the fact this is the first mainline Animal Crossing game with ceiling furniture, which of course was introduced originally in the spin-off Happy Home Designer. It's a small thing, but hey, it's really nice that now we have more detail than ever before in our homes. The 2.0 update really did give the biggest glow up to interior decoration, and I feel like if it's something you've not done much of before in Animal Crossing New Horizons, it'd be a great time to get into it. There's honestly so many more options now, so it's really worth decorating your homes, and maybe even creating some new houses in Animal Crossing as well for your secondary players. So I'm sure most of you already know that in 2.0 they introduced a brand new app called the Island Life 101, which gives you tips and advice on living around the island. It's something that you can redeem from the Nook shopping machine in the resident services. However, it turns out that if you restart your island, or you just start up for the first time in general, then Tom Nook will actually give this app to you for free. That means you don't have to go through the effort of redeeming it. In fact, he'll even kind of mention that usually you would have to pay a price for it, but because you're a new player and you've just started up your island, he'll give it to you for free. Now this makes a lot of sense because the app is really handy for newer players especially. It gives you a lot of advice on starting up the island, and it honestly goes over a lot of things that veteran players would already know. So it definitely makes sense to change the start of the game to include this. It's a nice sort of new feature or addition that they've added to this interaction with Tom Nook right at the start. So I'm definitely glad they've done this. I think it'll be helpful for a lot of new players because honestly, the Island Life 101 app is kind of underrated. It is actually pretty decent, and it goes over way more than just basic tips. So one of the big complaints I always noticed about Animal Crossing New Horizons is the fact that Isabelle would always ramble on about things like her socks, her phone calls back home. Personally, I just found these were more funny than annoying, but I get why people were tired of seeing them. However, the good news is that now there is statistically a much lower chance of you actually seeing these random pieces of dialogue from Isabelle. I'm sure you've all noticed that Isabelle now mentions when a special character is visiting your island. So that means that the chances of you getting to see Isabelle's talk about her missing sock and such is much lower, and you don't have to really worry as much now about seeing it unless there's literally nothing going on your island that day. There are quite a lot of potential things that can happen once you've got your island fully built up. So you probably won't be seeing these announcements from Isabelle much from now on, which I think is a really great quality of life update. But let me know in the comment section down below what interesting changes and new additions you've noticed in Animal Crossing New Horizons since the start of the game. I'd love to hear what sort of fascinating little details people have noticed in the newest updates. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to leave a like. If you haven't already, be sure to subscribe and turn on channel notifications for more. And if you made it to the end, be sure to comment Bob's Gang down below so I know that you did. I want to give a big thanks to these channel members for their continued support of me and what I do here on this channel. If you want to become a channel member, click the join button down below the video or the link in the description to learn more. You can get a whole bunch of cool perks like exclusive emojis, a badge by your name, access to our members only Discord and our members only podcast too.